So I think generally we've seen a big growth across the region for our membership, for our viewing. Our content's been firing across the board. We've had big hits across, with Silent Service in Japan, Mirzapur Panchayat in India,
Right.
with our Korean content strategy that we rolled out. And I think, and we are embracing the changes in the region really well with a broader marketplace strategy on content as well.
Got it.
So we feel in a good place generally across the board.
We'll double click on that in a minute, but I want to talk about Japan, which is obviously such a big business for the entire group, but obviously Prime Video is a large successful business. What do you think is driving engagement, acquisition, and brand love there? And what does the future look like? Because you already have a big penetration of what we would consider the addressable market. So how do you see that going forward?
Yeah, and Pashisan will talk more about Japan in a bit. I think overall for us, one thing to keep note of is that we, as Amazon in Japan, we've been there for a long time.
Right.
And we built a large e-commerce business and a very successful Prime program with huge trust for our customers. So when we brought the video services in 2015, we already had the momentum in that sense to bring a video offering to customers who really believed and trusted Amazon. And we built onto that. There were two things at note. One, it was a highly local market in terms of content. We talked about it this morning about how local it is, and a free-to-air market. So when you differentiate in that segment, that was key on the content strategy. The second part was, it was super important to think about it as, while we're going to create this segment to get customers on, how do we do it with partnerships? How do we do it with collaboration, as we create this? So I think we brought we could say 6 pillars of our content strategy there, which were again sequential. We rolled out the first 3 in the beginning and then 3 came after. So if you think about it, core, starting with was obvious one with anime. And we want to be the home for anime content, and Bashisan will talk more about that. And next was naturally movies, and how would be the home for exclusive A1 movies. Followed by that was unscripted, where we actually made some very good stride pretty early on. We're launching with shows like Documental, which became a big hit around the world with LOL formats and so on, and many others. And then as we went along and got success in those, we opened up the other pillars, brought the marketplace model with channels and TWARD. And channels in Japan is really a large and growing business for us because we super serve our customers really well with that. So if you're doing anime, we get anime partners on board, sports across the board. Then we rolled out live sports, which we've been now doing for a few years now. First as a channels business and add-on subscriptions, and now I'm part of Prime.
So you have that with baseball, right?
With baseball, with boxing, which is really big, and we're building on that. We've done soccer recently, so sports is really building up in Japan. And the last one, which we've been working on, really sort of building out and creating a great pillar, was live action, long form series. And I think we've got really good success in the recent years on that, with Silent Service was one of them. Yakuza Like a Dragon coming up shortly. So I think we feel really good about these pillars of content that are really firing for us, on top of a really strong membership program with Prime, and great partnerships with the industry overall.
Got it. Bashi-san, welcome to APOS. It's your first APOS. Thank you so much for being here. And we obviously heard from Gaurav about Japan. From your perspective, as you see anime and live sports, how have they played a particular key role in Prime Video's growth in Japan? And can you tell us a little bit more about the journey to date?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here, joining Gaurav as we mark our important anniversary. I've been privileged to be part of an incredible journey across almost a decade in Japan since our launch in 2015. So yeah, anime has been one of our core pillars of our success across content like day after broadcast, licensed library selection, originals, and licensed films, and also add-on subscriptions to our marketplace. And our strategy has been really simple, like really leaning into our customers' needs and prioritizing their needs. And for us, that meant to be, to have a broad selection of anime, rather than, being, having a limited number of exclusive titles. I mean, exclusive titles are great, but, we've been really focusing on a broad selection for the past decade. And through that journey, I think our customers have really seen us as like the go-to destination, like the home for anime, and we really built trust with them. And we couldn't have, built, trust, like Gaurav was talking about, like our partnerships. Like we couldn't build trust with our customers without building trust with our content partners, right? Across the board in the anime industry, and this includes like publishers, like the publishers who publish manga books that are a source of anime, like production companies, like obviously key licensors like free TV broadcasters, and also even partners that have their own dedicated anime OTT services. And I think throughout the years, our partners see us as a critical component or partner to meet their needs and to execute their strategies. For example, like take publishers. I think publishers see us as a key media outlet that gives massive exposure to their IP that helps them, with their ancillary businesses, right? Like consumer products, their manga sales. Another example is like our partners that have their own dedicated anime services. I think they benefited from our broad reach and our appeal with their service on our marketplace, and obviously we benefited from that, giving our customers a more deeper and more selection for anime.
But just on long form content specifically and originals, how originals trending in Japan, and what gives Prime? You've got an e-commerce service there, I get it,
Yes.
and we've heard from Gaurav how the size of that. But what else gives Prime Video its unique differentiation in Japan?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So I think I should first start out by saying our first major success in that space was, actually came from unscripted originals. It's called documental in
Yes.
Japan, also known as LOL,
Yeah.
Last One Laughing. Yes. It's been adapted into like dozens of adaptations around the world. And so with that, I think our producing like locally relevant content has been the core success. And since then, the past few years, we've launched The Bachelor Japan, Bachelorette Japan, and also Love Transit was another success unscripted show, and we're excited to announce, we've already announced that we're gonna release Golden Combi. Besides that, I think, and Gaurav was talking about this, we're really committed in delivering exclusive Japanese movies to our customers. So particularly pay ones. And so we're really encouraged how our customers have responded to that. They've responded very well, so we're going to expand in that space. And I think what's super important and a core strategy for us, especially the original space, is tapping into local IP.
Right.
I'm not sure if everyone is known for this. Everyone knows this, but Japan has an abundance of compelling local IP, intellectual properties from manga, novels, and games. And we feel it's very important to tap into this to win the hearts of Japanese audiences. For example, take our successful TV show called Silent Service. This was actually an adaptation, live action adaptation of a manga book published by Kodansha. And we actually took a very new approach to this. We partnered with a production company called Curated, a very successful production company who helped us bring this compelling story to life to our customers. And not only that, we also partnered with Toho, one of the biggest movie distributors in Japan. And what we did was we actually took the first couple of episodes, made it in a movie format, released it theatrically first, and then made available the entire series, obviously including the continuation of that story, available to Prime Video. And so that kind of new collaborative way there was a win-win partnership there, and we were able to deliver this compelling story to our customers. I guess another example in terms of local IPs is there's this manga book called Oshinoko. Oshinoko is also been adapted to anime, super successful, customers love it. And we've done the live action adaptation of that one too. And with this one, we partnered with Toei, which is another movie distributor. And what we did with this one was we're gonna first release the TV series on Prime Video Japan, and then follow up with the sequel released in theaters.
I think we heard a lot about the growth in India from Kevin, Kiran, Monica. Like, just as they see, we're seeing great growth in India overall. But from Prime Video particularly, this year has been as good as any, and we're building on that. We started the year with like big hits, from on the scripted side with Indian Police Force, with Poachers, and our subsequent seasons of Panchayat and Mirzapur became really, really big, not just in India but around the world. Like Mirzapur was trending in top 10 in 85 countries in the opening weekend, so it's like huge hits, and we got a big YA hit, young adult hit with Colleen Bay, this month, and unscripted as well, 2 breakthrough formats with a Follow Reality one, with Follow Karo with Urfi, and then there was another one on big Indian sort of creators who've been iconic storytellers behind the hits from 70s to 90s, with Angry Young Men. So I think there was these huge hits that we've had over the course of the last 6 months, the core SWOT surveys that brought the momentum. But I think we've also been building on the other pillars of our success in India, which has been on our marketplace business. We've actually expanded our channels business, 24 channels now. As an example, super serving customers, we've got multiple anime channels now in India. You are talking about it earlier about growth of anime in India with Crunchyroll, the Anime Times. We're building out a strong TVOD business. We now actually have the largest selection of TVOD rental titles in the country, over 6,000. Interesting thing, we're creating the category there.
Right,
So
it's
we
the
actually,
first time,
we,
right?
We're actually seeing like 75% of our catalog being rented every month.
Right.
So that's really good. We're also seeing a lot of momentum of Indian content around the world. Last year actually we saw out of 52 weeks, 43 weeks, Indian shows and movies were in top 10 worldwide. So that's huge, and that's building out the category overall. And the final pillar, I think, be part of a large membership program, Prime, and as we're seeing the momentum generally of the economy and the growth of subscriptions and so on, we think about creating local models for for India, which are unique. We launched Prime Lite, which is our membership program, which with only a single user video as well as delivery.
Sure.
So as Prime Lite is again first of its kind, launched in India first, much like we did Prime Video Mobile Edition in India a few years back. So I think all of these pillars together have been really helping us expand on our momentum in India. And I think what we feel really good about on the content side is we are really building franchises now.
I guess that leads us to me. A final question to you, Gaurav, is that looking at the 25, what are you most excited about? We've touched on sports, we've touched on TVOD and channels, maybe some regions as well that we haven't mentioned. Tell us more.
Yeah, I think there'll be a bunch of things that we are focused on. Again, building on our pillars that we talked about. The content slate will continue to expand both across India and Japan, but we are investing deeply in Korean content as well.
I was going to say that's going to grow, right?
Right, absolutely. We had a spectacular hit with Marry My Husband earlier this year. We are building on much more, so we're going to do much more of that.
When you say the spectacular, that's a global
hit. It's like everywhere. So that was fantastic. So we're doubling down on that. We've had actually a pretty good year in Southeast Asia with building out with our LOL formats doing across 3 countries really well. So obviously we continue to build our content momentum across the locales. Earlier in March this year, in a Prime Video presence in India, we talked about 70 movies and shows that we're going to be releasing over the next 2 years. So all that will come up.
NBA?
Of course, we announced the partnership with NBA, 11-year partnership, which we are super excited to bring to our customers here in the region. I think from our point of view, there are 2 other areas we are deeply focused on. We are really invested, we talked on our marketplace model on bringing hub experience to our customers.
Sure.
So we actually think about this as, selection for our customers is not just about what Prime Video would bring out with our SVOD service, but really how we bring that together.